Your sensors are correct. Do not adjust your heading. You've discovered the Omega Particle, streaming to the Alpha Quadrant and beyond. Here's your host, the anchorman of the Federation, the Doctor of Dilithium. This is Jonathan Wiegand.
Welcome to the Omega Particle Podcast. Like the man said, I am your harmless little fuzzball of a host, Jonathan Wiegand, and we are going to be recapping everything from sunup to sundown that was announced and premiere at San Diego Comic-Con. And if you're a busy person like me, I'm so busy. I mean, I guess you could say sometimes I have to say no to new projects because whether it be at home or even at work sometimes, because I'm up to my neck in enterprises. Pause for laughter. I just have to stop engaging in everything. Okay, I think, is that the last one? Who wrote that? Raul? Raul wrote that? Okay, well, we'll call HR after this. Just kidding, we don't have HR. We don't have that kind of money. Anyway, buzzing with excitement here because we're going to deep dive in some of the biggest news from the Star Trek universe panel at San Diego Comic-Con 2024. It was an absolute bonanza. We've got all the latest scoops from Section 31, Starfleet Academy, Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks. We finally get to have an exclusive look. Michelle Yeoh returning as Emperor Philippa Georgiou in Section 31. And then we have this nostalgic waves coming back with the EMH from Voyager coming in Starfleet Academy now. The fact that we are still getting a Star Trek comedy show. It's a live action comedy show, which we put out a poll on Instagram and we heard from you guys whether you were very excited about it or not. But we will cover those results later on in the episode. And we even get into Lower Decks, the last season, kind of with a teaser trailer and then a premiere date. So there's a lot to go through today. Like I said at the top of the show, if you're busy, you usually don't have time to go through and review and see what's going on in San Diego Comic-Con and what's been announced. You kind of just get real quick snippets maybe of a story, or, you know, maybe just in passerby, you hear it like on some forums or whatever. You don't really get the news. So that's why I really wanted to deep dive today. And speaking of deep diving, I am just obsessed with the diving, the synchronized diving to things. And on the Olympics, I am an Olympics junkie. So I'm just deep diving into that, literally. Archery, handball. I wish handball was bigger in the United States, because that is something I feel like I could do that. But I think that's the danger of any sport, is you're like, I could do that. As you're like sitting at home covered in food, as these intense elite athletes that they've been training since they've been like 3 months old can do. But yeah, we're like, yeah, I could do that. Anyway, we did not come here to talk about the Olympics. We came here to talk about San Diego Comic-Con. So buckle up, everybody, whether you're a die-hard Trekkie or just starting your journey through the stars. This episode is going to be packed with that nerdy goodness that you crave. And so without further ado, Luna, let's roll that beautiful bean footage. The first story here is probably what I'm most excited of, because I am a deep comedy fan. I grew up on 80s movies, and whether it's Ghostbusters, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Beverly Hills Cop, I mean, I just lived in 80s comedy. So I have a soft spot for it. And so now when they announced that, you know, Lower Decks was ending with the 5th season, I was like, okay, maybe this is the end of this streaming age of Star Trek. They're going to start cutting down all these shows. Everything's going to be starting wrapping up. Speaking of getting canceled, Kate Mulgrew on a panel, like one of the late panels too in San Diego Comic-Con, was basically saying, why'd they cancel Prodigy? We had great reviews. We had great numbers. Why'd they cancel us? We still haven't got an explanation. So she's absolutely right. We need an explanation for that. But it was announced that there is going to be a live-action comedy series in development from Tawny Newsome and Justin Simon. So if you're wondering, okay, who is that? Tawny Newsome is, of course, from Star Trek Lower Decks. She plays Mariner. And then writer-director Justin Simon, also known for several movies, including Haunted Mansion and Dear White People. And they're going to team up to do a live-action comedy set in Star Trek. And according to our Instagram polls, about 4 or 5, about 497 of you are excited about it, which turned out to be about 68%. Pollsters were excited about it, and then some were left with no, we don't want any comedy, and then the rest were about 10% were meh. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, Luna's talking to me through the glass here. Yeah, I feel like Haunted Mansion was kind of a flop, right? What are the numbers for it? Okay, so the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes was 37, but the audience score is 87. So it seemed like the audience loved it, but the critics didn't. Okay, so if the audience's score is high, that's kind of more important to me because there's so much drama in Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, so it seems like it was a very good movie, and he seems like a talented guy. But I'm very curious why he would choose Star Trek. I couldn't find anything online if he was a fan or not, and maybe it was just a really, really big check. And that was why. Star Trek is boosting up the quality of the production that they're investing into new shows, so that's freaking fantastic, especially with Section 31. Michelle Yeoh, it's going to be great. Oh, and some good news. So Alex Kurtzman's actually going to be co-writing the show as well. And he got into the news this past week because he is a freaking Trek legend now, because back last year in the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strikes, he actually paid the support staff through the strike from his own pocket. I'm like, okay, you're like instant Trek legend now. Hats off, clapping to you, dude. And we didn't know this until Tawny Newsome shared it during the StarFleet Academy panel. So what we know about this comedy show is that it's going to take place in the 25th century and will follow, quote-unquote, Federation outsiders serving on a gleaming resort planet who discover that their daily exploits are being broadcast to the entire quadrant. It's like Truman Show, but in Star Trek. We'll see. I'm always interested in, like, it could be good. I really like this combo. So maybe it'll be something fantastic, and maybe it really won't even be Starfleet. It'll just be in the Star Trek world. Maybe that's it. It's a resort planet, so you never know. So at the San Diego Comic-Con panel, Newsome actually didn't confirm if she was going to be acting in the series, because we know that Lower Decks is wrapping up, so maybe she has more free time. And she's already a writer on the Star Trek series Starfleet Academy. So it might just be something we'll see, because if she's spearheading a show and co-writing and doing something for Starfleet Academy, that's a lot. Who knows if she's actually going to be in the show or not. I hope she is. I think she's great. Speaking of Starfleet Academy, it was announced that we're going to get a lot of great, freaking nostalgic, and one I'm particularly pumped about, and that is the Tig Notaro, Oded Fehr, Mary Wiseman, and Robert Picardo are coming to Starfleet Academy. I mean, those are some legacy characters. First off, Tig Notaro isn't really a legacy character, I would say. She was from Discovery, Jet Reno. She was a series regular on there. But Robert Picardo is going to be reprising his role as the Doctor from Star Trek Voyager. Even though they're not like series regulars, Oded Fehr and Mary Wiseman will still have starring roles from their Discovery days as Admiral Vance and Sylvia Tilly, respectively. And even Paul Giamatti is going to be in the show. He was announced as well. So it's going to be a fantastic show. But I'm really excited that they're getting the EMH out. When does it start? Like, when does it actually go in production, Luna? Okay, so it sounds like they're going to be starting now. Like, it's rolling. Production is going to start late summer in Toronto for a 6-month shoot. And they say it's designed to showcase the most enormous set, really the most enormous set created for any Star Trek show. Its design will incorporate a central 2-story academic atrium, an elaborate amphitheater, classrooms, mess hall. Wow. And so it's going to probably take 6 to 8 months. And we're if I had to guess, we're probably not going to get Starfleet Academy until 2026 sometime. So it seems like they're investing a lot of money and a lot of like nostalgic factor, but with these great, amazing actors as well and actresses. So it seems like this might be the new top ticket of Star Trek from now on, after, Discovery's ending, Lower Decks is ending. So I was curious, what is the show exactly going to be? And it's going to be Starfleet Academy, but it's not going to be the one that I think of, like with Boothby and the lakes, San Francisco, Golden Gate Bridge, everyone's happy, go lucky, it's great. No, it's going to be the one set, again, in the 25th century. It's going to be a lot of craziness and tumultuous times, which I think will be really good. And Kurtzman actually did an interview with LA Times about this. He's like, my thinking was, if we set Academy in the Halcyon days of the Federation, where everything was fine and everything was in paradise, it's not going to speak to what kids are going through right now. Like I've said a million times on the podcast, the best sci-fi kind of reflects and comments on what's going on today. So I think it's cool that they're going to kind of have a show about this crazy world and universe that these kids are living in and trying to build up the Federation again. And Kurtzman continues is that it'll be a nice fantasy. It's not going to be overly authentic. I don't know what that means. He'll say, so they're going to be the first ones who inherit and then pass on the torch for the primary purpose of Starfleet, and that's going to be exploration, because there really wasn't any room to do that during the burn. Everybody was kind of playing defense. I've heard it's going to be a very optimistic show, a very fun show, and it's not going to be over the top, serious all the time, 100%. So that makes me happy, because if it's about, teenagers and living in a chaotic world, maybe it's not best that it's always intense, always over the top drama. Maybe have a little fun, and hopefully it'll bring in a new age of Trek fans, so that'll be awesome. I just hope it's not like a teen drama. I hope not, because I've heard from Kurtzman that it's going to be in a very emotional show. What kind of emotion show? Like, I don't really keep up with teen dramas too much. I don't know. What's that one show on HBO everyone talks about? It's like super raunchy. Starts with an E. Euphoria? Euphoria. I don't even know. Okay. I hope it's not like that. I was like, I hope it's not too drama-y. Hope it keeps with some sweet sci-fi. Anyway, I'm rambling. So moving on, again, probably the biggest news we got out of the Comic-Con was getting a Section 31 teaser with Michelle Yeoh back as the Emperor. So the final part of the whole entire panel at 2024 was this, we have this streaming movie coming starring Academy Award winner now, Michelle Yeoh, and it kind of gave us a first trailer, because I didn't know if this was actually ever going to happen. It's been an absolute production hell, and it just kept pushing back and rechanges and pushing back, and then with Yeoh winning an Oscar, it made people doubt if she's ever going to return, because she won an Oscar for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. She could have demanded more money and more high praise. Like, I'm not going to do a streaming movie. I'm above that now or something. She could have had a bad attitude, but freaking fantastic, because we should get this movie to Paramount Plus in early 2025. And it started, I don't know if you've seen the teaser, but it's kind of like this surprise video, and it's an interruption style into Hall H. I would love if we got a Agent Stone or a Julian Bashir mention, or just kind of nod, or even a cameo. I think that'd be freaking fantastic, because the description of the movie is Georgiou, who joins a secret division of Starfleet and tasked with protecting, the United Federation of Planets, and she also must face for the sins of her past. I don't know. I think with her and the fact that she still came back and honored those commitments, I think it has to be a high bar. And for those unfamiliar, Discovery saw her portray both Starfleet Captain Philippa Georgiou and a brutal and cunning emperor from a parallel universe where a xenophobic, militaristic humanity was running the show, aka the Mirror Universe, which I think we have a couple episodes on that. And then after the Starfleet Captain version met her end and was unalived, as they say, the Emperor version was convinced to come to our universe and act as her other self. Yes. And we even get to see a young version of herself as well being played. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun to kind of explore maybe her childhood. Only thing right now is that it's going to be coming out in early 2025 and it's going to be straight to streaming. Be on the lookout for that. And speaking of streaming, have a wild clip, probably the one you've heard most about, is the Strange New World Season 3 clip where they have the Enterprise crew turning into Vulcans. We're not going to get Strange New World Season 3 until sometime in 2025. Again, the strike really delayed a lot of the whole processes and productions, and like I said, with Academy, it's going to take 6 to 8 months in just production, not even talk about post-production. So it's going to take a while, but the fact that in this clip we see Captain Pike, Nurse Chapel, Uhura, and a couple others kind of turn into Vulcans for a mission, and it just seems like they're kind of stretching themselves again, because the prior season they did a bunch of like crossover episodes. They did the infamous musical episode, whether you love it or hate it, it definitely got people talking about the show. So now it's kind of underwhelming. It's like, okay, we're just doing Vulcans and we're that's like, is that really worthy of San Diego Comic-Con panel? Like, is that all we got? I feel like there's some hangover from the last season too, because we got the Gorn, we got a lot in that season, and it was very marketed and very hyped. And so now it's just kind of like, meh. It's just, here it is. So I'm curious if it's actually going to deliver, if it's going to be an underwhelming season, because I don't feel like they're pushing it so much like they did the season 2. I mean, they were just up our butts about the crossover episode, up our butts about the musical episode, and then now it's kind of nothing. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're going to start pushing the marketing in 2025. Maybe it's late 25. They're like, well, of course we're not going to let you know. This is where you come to make those cool announcements, and you bring a Vulcan clip. So let me know what you think. Send some DMs on Instagram or any of our social medias. We'll love to hear from you guys. And last but not least, for our San Diego Comic-Con recap, is that we get a new trailer and a 2-episode premiere date for the last season of Lower Decks. Now, I have adored Lower Decks. Again, like I said, I'm really into comedies, and the fact that it's almost a love letter to Star Trek 2. Like, if you're a deep Star Trek fan, you will get all the references and you'll get all the fun they have and kind of showing that to us. When it was announced that it was ending, I was disappointed, but again, 5 seasons for an animated show ain't bad, considering, Enterprise with Scott Bakula only got 4. I mean, can't really argue with that. And the premiere date is going to be Thursday, October 24th, with 2 episodes, and then after that, a new episode will drop each week until the finale airs on Thursday, December 19th. So right in the mood for Christmas. Back in 2023, the season lengths here that we've gone, showrunner Mike McMahon actually doubted, saying, we might only be a 5-season show. We might not get anything close to that. And if you think about that, his comments were quickly followed by the cancellation of Prodigy, and then we know Prodigy was picked up by Netflix, but it still makes you think, like, maybe we've reached the comedy lightheartedness of Star Trek. And then, of course, we got the announcement for the live action, so who knows? So I'm very excited about this last season on the Cerritos and kind of see what could happen. Again, it always feels kind of underwhelming to me when they announce the seasons. They're like, oh, by the way, season 5's here. Oh, last season, season 4. And I'm like, oh my God, I guess it's here. And it kind of sneaks up on you every fall. But I've really enjoyed this show. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. That has been our wrap up of the San Diego Comic-Con. Everything that was announced for Star Trek, all of the cool panels and insights that we got to read about and watch here at the podcast. So I'd love to help you guys report on that, because again, not a lot of people have time to research this and to go into it, but that's why we're here, baby. Anchorman of the Federation, just to report the news to you. Real quick before we go, I wanted to kind of drop a great opportunity for everybody. I know we've been kind of featuring Nobea watches, and they're finally out now. They came out on July 26th, and if you don't have one of these and you want one, please let me know. They're coming out in about 4 different colors. There's only 800 of them made, 200 per color. I have 8 of 200 for the black, and they're absolutely gorgeous, incredible timepieces. I love it's so nice. I only feel like I can wear it to like certain events. You know, I feel like I can wear it to like church and then maybe like a dinner. I don't feel like I can wear it around the house because it's that nice. It's heavy. I don't want to get it damaged. And highly recommend the product. Now, if you are interested, you can get a 50% off discount code. The crack team here, led by our wonderful kind of producer / intern Luna, got us 50% off for you guys, and you can use that code OPP50 just when you go at checkout. We'll take 50% off right there. You don't want to miss this chance to own a piece of Star Trek history in this wonderful collaboration between Nobea Watches and Star Trek. So that has been our San Diego Comic-Con episode. Thank you so much for listening, and Luna, let's wrap it up. Again, thank you so much for listening, and it's been great. Kind of a tumultuous week for me. A lot of just craziness in life. We went to a monster truck show rally, and it was so loud. And then my wife got COVID. So it's been nuts this past week. So appreciate like talking to you guys, getting lost in some great Star Trek conversations on Instagram. And so if you're not, to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We're on it all. We'd love to hear from you guys. And again, please keep your mental health in check. If you need help, reach out. If you want to talk to somebody, reach out. We're all valuable, and we have an important part to play in this thing called life. And so I just want to make sure everybody knows that. And as we wrap up, second star to the right, straight on till morning.